guys, how you all doing? And as you can see, the Toyota Supra behind me, which I've been reviewing recently, I'll put a review of that up in maybe a couple of weeks time. Follow on hashtag BCG Toyota Supra. And this video, that one's going back later today, and this video is, well, it's a coincidence I have both of these cars here, so I thought I'll talk a little bit about them. And this will, that test car is being replaced by the one you see there. And yes, that is the BMW 4 Series. Yes, it's the one with the big grille. And this is kind of what I wanted to talk about a little bit. Now, both of these cars, now this one I've just literally got, so the review will take a while, but you can follow that on, I should just say, hashtag BCG BMW 420i. I'll put the links below in the description. Make sure that you're subscribing to this channel, of course, youtube.com/browncarguy. Now, the thing is, what I wanted to say about these cars is not, you know, there's a lot of, I hesitate to use the word hate when it comes to petrol heads and car people when it comes to these two cars, but there's a lot of, shall we say, debate and discussion. And you know, debate's not a bad thing, it's a good thing, it's a healthy thing to have debate, and this is probably what I want to try and contribute to a little bit, and I'll do that after this. So the Toyota Supra then, yes, all the arguments are there, and you know what, it's hard to get away from the fact that this is a result of a collaboration with BMW, and it is basically a Z4 underneath. And you know, in my review I kind of struggle with that, as you'll see when that comes out, and that's absolutely true, and that is a fair discussion, a fair debate. But here's the thing, these cars exist because these manufacturers have made an effort to make them exist, and this is my point. It's like for enthusiasts, and it's the enthusiasts that are the ones that are always complaining and moaning about it, but the reality is that would either of these cars exist if not for the collaboration between not just these two manufacturers but other manufacturers, so for example Toyota and Subaru and what have you. Now the Supra, you see on my shoulder, I used to own a Supra, I owned a Mark II Supra, and the Supra basically was around in several generations from 1978 up to 2002, and then this one turns up in 2019. So that's a 17-year gap where we did not have a Supra. And you know, if you think about it, a lot of the great cool 80s coupe and sports cars that we used to get from the Japanese market, especially talk about the Preludes and the Celicas and the MR2s and whatnot, CRXs and all that, the Mazda did a whole bunch of coupes, they're all gone. And this is the thing, when it comes to coupes, now we all have a go at this 4 Series here, A, that they named it the 4 Series, B, that they've put that massive grille on it, but you know what, at least we still get a coupe from BMW, and at least BMW still put a little bit of soul into their cars, a little bit of driving passion into their cars, and I think they still do. Not all of them, admittedly. I've driven some BMWs where you think, how has that got a BMW badge on it? But most of them do still have that. And I think that, you know, I'm not saying that, you know, we need to be grateful and therefore we need to not discuss it or not argue about it, but I'm just saying that it's worth keeping in mind that if not for these manufacturers and what they're doing. I mean, if you think about coupes, for example, as I mentioned, in the 80s and 90s, almost every manufacturer would have coupes. You'd have a saloon, and then you'd have a coupe version. Even the Accord had a coupe version, and it was a good-looking one, you know. Now they've virtually disappeared. It's only the Germans really that are doing them. With the BMW, Mercedes and Audi, they have coupes in their lineup. Most of the other manufacturers don't really bother. Some of them are not even bothering with saloons anymore. And when you think about it, a coupe is a two-door version of a saloon. It's less optimum when it comes to practicality, because you've only got 2 doors instead of 4, which are obviously ideal. And you know, to some people will say, quite rightly, that well, that's a bit of a waste of space, isn't it? So, but at least, but for some of us, as we know, you know, if I can move around to the side here and just show you this car a little bit, if I'm able to do that, there you go. You can see that it's got flowing lines, it's got character. If you can get away from that grille, the rest of that BMW is a really good looking car. It's a very resolved style, and it's got that sleekness that you really want from a coupe. most manufacturers wouldn't bother nowadays, but you're getting them. You're getting them from this, and you're getting a Supra. And because of collaborations and because of the economies of scale of manufacturers teaming up and combining things to produce the same engine or the platform or the gearbox or whatever, it means that suddenly we can get nameplates and cars and badges that we wouldn't normally get. The amount of investment that a manufacturer has to put into a product, say up to $1 billion on one product range, means that if they're not going to sell in sufficient numbers, and let's be honest, sports cars and coupes will never sell in sufficient numbers, doesn't justify it. So there has to be some sort of collaboration and some sort of cooperation to make these cars and to make sure that they still exist. And I think that that's one of the reasons why I don't want to be as harsh or as brutal with these manufacturers as some people quite rightly and quite justifiably are, because I think that at least we're still getting cars like this. And I think that as a petrolhead, as a gearhead, as somebody who's passionate about cars, I think that's still important, and I think that's still a plus, regardless of the nitty-gritty and those minuter aspects of whether or not we approve of what they've done with the grille, or the fact that that's got really a Z4 underneath that Toyota body. Anyway, this is a debate, this is a discussion, this is an open forum, so I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what you think. Am I barking up the wrong tree, or have I got a point? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Should they just get rid of these cars now? Have they had their day? Should we only concentrate on classics? Or is it something to be celebrated that at least we still have cars like this? Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure you're subscribing to youtube.com/browncarguy and hit the bell icon and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my videos. Whilst you're at it, subscribe to browncarguy.com and follow me on social media by just searching for my hashtag. That's on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and even on TikTok. If you love my content, then please consider sponsoring and supporting it, and you can do that over at patreon.com/browncarguy. And you know what? You can use my platforms to promote your product, service, or brand. My YouTube channel is now closing in on 3,000 subscribers as I record this. Total views are nearly 500,000, and the reach just over the last month is nearly 1 million. So join these amazing people as my patrons, including Mohammed Umaid in the UAE, Partha in India, a tech guru and social media consultant. Find him on parthans.com. Tom Conway Gordon here in the UK, Isaac Beauchard in the US. He's got some great deals on cool cars at bespokeautos.com. Reza Adil, check him out at Alizadeh Cigars on Instagram. Mohammed Qasim, business consultant. You can find him at wehms.com. Siraj Abbasi at Tiles Italia on Instagram for luxury floor and wall tiling. Mark Waddell in Canada. Zach Kogiani, a globe-trotting pilot with amazing images for sale at zachkogiani.com. And last but not least, my school champ Shaheer Hakki. Thanks for watching. More cool vids on the way. Catch you again in the next one.